Hello and welcome back to Cinematic Universe, everyone. My name is Ernesto Martinez. The movie that I'll be reviewing for you guys today is The Free State of Jones, the action drama biography directed by Gary Ross, starring Matthew McConaughey. Now, The Free State of Jones pretty much takes place back in the 1800s, around the time the Civil War was happening between the Union Army and the Confederate Army. And the movie opens pretty much with Matthew McConaughey's character pretty much in the early stages, if not the middle stages of the Civil War, where at the time all men were drafted into the war because they didn't have no choice, it seems. And McConaughey's character is pretty much part soldier but part nurse, and you see him kind of carrying a lot of wounded soldiers back to the doctors and nurses for them to get treated. And along the way, he comes across this boy who's apparently a family member or somebody he knows from his farm in Mississippi, which is pretty much most of the place where this movie is established, around Mississippi. And as he's trying to protect this young boy who got drafted to the Confederate Army, the boy dies, as you've seen in the trailer, and McConaughey says that he's had enough. It's a senseless war. He doesn't want any part of it. And this was at a time where, today's day and age, if you go AWOL, they can, arrest you and put you in prison. Back in the day, they could pretty much shoot you or hang you if you're a deserter. So he is a deserter and there's a bounty on him. And he starts to realize that not only is the Confederate Army fighting against the Union Army, but he's starting to realize that the Confederate Army is pretty much stealing valuable resources from farmlands run by people who don't have much else except their crops and their hogs. And the Confederate Army is stealing all their precious resources because without the crops and without the hogs to keep them warm and fed for the winter, they can pretty much wither and die. And by they, I mean the people. So not only is there a war between two armies to, you know, at the time it was just for the liberation of the slaves and stuff like that. A new war is happening in the South where McConaughey's character, who plays Newton Knight, says he's had enough and he is going to fight a new war where no longer is the Confederate Army going to steal the resources and do whatever they want and taxate and put on taxes on whatever they want. So he's going to war with the Confederate Army, with a lot of people who are also deserters, and not just deserters, but slaves as well, and people who want to be free, as well as, people like McConaughey's character. So it's pretty much the 1% versus everybody else, the poor people. And you have other actors like Gugu Mbatha-Raw, who plays Rachel. She is a midwife slash slave. And you have Mahershala Ali, who plays Moses, another slave. Then you have actress Keri Russell, who plays his late wife Serena. And you have other actors who you may or may not have heard of, like Christopher Barry, Sean Bridges, Jacob Loflin, and other notable cast members that, maybe by face alone you can recognize, but not by name, at least not for me. And for the most part, performance-wise, The Free State of Jones is okay. It's very good. Matthew McConaughey delivers a very good role. The McConaissance is still happening. So he's really giving it his, McConaughey touch. He is, what we've come to expect of him in this new career that's pretty much reinvigorated his sense of worth as an actor. And, other actors like Gugu Mbatha-Raw as Rachel and Mahershala Ali as Moses, they also deliver great performances. Keri Russell as well. There is nothing wrong with the actors in this movie. They are all top notch. They know what they're doing. The problem is with the script and the director as well. I like Gary Ross. He's made some movies that are, very good. They're all worthy to be in the conversation of good movies, if not great. The problem is that, you know, lately we've been getting a lot of movies. Well, not a lot, but it seems to me like every year we're always going to get that one or two movies that have to deal with this issue. With, well, it's no longer an issue, but in today's standard, we are still dealing with race and violence against people of different ethnic backgrounds, of color, and stuff like that. We're still dealing with that today in the modern world. And it seems to me that every year we're always going to be getting that movie that touches upon the Civil War era or slavery or stuff like that. There's always going to be that one movie, which I guess is to, the way I see it, is to remind people to never forget the hardships that we've gone through and to pretty much reflect that no matter how far we've come as a society, we still have a lot to work on to pretty much move away from those harsh days. And, as with any movie like 12 Years a Slave or The Butler or the soon to be released Birth of No Nation this year, and you can say Django Unchained as an example and stuff like that. Movies like that we have been getting lately, they all deal with the subject and they all have their style and they all have that emotional weight, that spark that makes it stand out from the rest and still be considered, a genuine piece of art and filmmaking. The problem with the Free State of Jones is that it feels at times that in the span that it's trying to cover in history between like 1865 to 1875, I believe, depending on what the years are going, it's trying to capture a lot of ground in that span of time frame, but it never really feels like it doesn't have that, like I was saying earlier, it doesn't have that emotional weight that a movie like 12 Years a Slave would have. It doesn't have that attention grabber. It doesn't have that type of execution that is the kind of thing that you would go to a random person or somebody that you know and say, listen, have you seen this movie? You really need to see it. And the movie often just comes off as a little dry. And even after it has its really poignant and powerful moments from acting, the rest of the movie just feels like it's just running and running and running. And when I say running, I mean the running time is just going from scene to scene with no real purpose and no real sight to end. The movie is only 2 hours and 19 minutes, but it kind of feels a little longer than that. And I really shouldn't be feeling like I want to check my watch every few minutes to see when the movie's going to be over or what's the point of the movie, or where are you going to end it? Are you going to end it in a really powerful way that makes me want to say, wow, now there's a movie that I feel like I can watch again just to not only witness a piece of history, but actually witness these characters, these real life people that are being portrayed by these well-talented actors. And another problem with the movie is that there's just no focus. For some reason, in the first 15 minutes, we are already set on the 1800s, and then somehow in the next scene we're in 1950. Why are we in 1950? Why are we in a scene where there is this character who is being accused in a court in the South that because he is 1/8 African American, it makes his marriage to a white woman unacceptable, illegal under the state of rule and law of that land at the time. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds like a great movie that I would have loved to have seen. But I came here to watch Free State of Jones, and there was really no focus on Free State of Jones, even though the scenes that take place in the 1950s only happen 3 or 4 times. And that's pretty much all I can say about this movie. Not Gary Ross's best work, even though there are moments in this movie that are actually well done. But as a whole, I would not recommend you pay theater price for a movie. I would at least recommend you wait until Netflix or Redbox or HBO or however you want to do it. And that's all I have to say. If I were to rate this movie, I would probably give it like I'm not gonna be too harsh, but I'll probably give it like a five, maybe 5 or 6, somewhere around there. It's not terrible. It's just it has some moments, and then the rest of it, you're just like, was that really a good choice, or kind of like stuff. Who knows? Maybe it's lower, but if all fair is fair. So as always, everybody, thank you for listening. My name is Ernesto Martinez, and you can find me on Twitter at MartinezXYZ. You can find me Cinematic Universe here on YouTube. Click that subscribe button and share. And you can also find me on MoviePilot.com Cinematic Universe and CreatorsCode.com Cinematic Universe. Bye bye, guys.